Here's a full 800-word creative essay titled, As Star Trek Retires Scotty, His Last Words Settle What Makes the Franchise Great. As Star Trek retires Scotty, his last words settle what makes the franchise great. After decades of warp drives, transporter beams, and impossible engineering miracles, Montgomery Scott has finally said his last farewell. In Star Trek's latest chapter, the long-serving miracle worker of the Enterprise takes his final bow, a moment charged not just with nostalgia, but with a quiet, profound truth about what Star Trek has always been about. His last words, equal parts humor and heart, don't just close the story of a beloved character. They reaffirm the spirit that has made Star Trek endure for nearly 60 years. When James Doohan first stepped onto the bridge in the 1960s, Scotty was more than just the man in the red shirt behind the engines. He was the embodiment of ingenuity, courage, and an unwavering belief that problems, no matter how impossible, could always be solved with a bit of cleverness and heart. That ethos became the backbone of Star Trek itself. The idea that intellect and optimism could conquer the darkness of space and of humanity alike. Now, as the franchise bids farewell to Scotty once more, this time with Simon Pegg's heartfelt portrayal bringing the character's arc full circle, his final words encapsulate what the series has always stood for. The laws of physics can't be changed, he says with a weary smile, but people can. It's a simple line, almost a callback to his famous defiance of the impossible, but it lands with the weight of decades. In that single sentence, Star Trek distills its message. The universe may be vast, cold, and unchanging, but humanity's potential for growth, empathy, and understanding is limitless. It's easy to think of Star Trek as a show about spaceships and aliens, about phasers and Klingons, but at its heart, it has always been about us. Each episode, whether set in the 23rd or 25th century, has explored what it means to be human. The technology, the science, the endless star systems, those were just tools. What mattered was how people used them. Scotty's genius with the warp core was never just about the math. It was about the spirit behind it, the belief that you could always find a way, that there was always hope hiding somewhere in the circuitry. That's why his farewell resonates so deeply. It's not just the end of a character, it's the reaffirmation of Star Trek's faith in humanity. As he powers down one last time, surrounded by the hum of the Enterprise's engines, Scotty isn't lamenting the end of his era. He's celebrating the continuity of the dream that we can explore without conquering, solve without destroying, and grow without forgetting where we came from. It's fitting, too, that Scotty's send-off doesn't come in a blaze of glory or a warp core explosion. Instead, it's quiet, measured, almost humble. He shares a drink with his captain, reflects on the countless adventures behind them, and admits that even a man who's spent his life among the stars can still be amazed by what people are capable of. It's nae the stars that make it worth it, he says. It's who ye travel with. Those words, gentle as they are, settle what has made Star Trek endure through reboots, timelines, and changing audiences. It's never been about the destination. It's about the journey and the crew who share it. That's a powerful thing in an age when science fiction often leans toward the cynical. Where other franchises dive into dystopia or moral ambiguity, Star Trek remains defiantly optimistic. It insists that cooperation, curiosity, and compassion are not naive, they're necessary. Scotty's farewell reminds us that the franchise's greatness lies not in its spectacle, but in its sincerity. It still believes that people can change, can get better, can reach for something higher. For longtime fans, this moment feels like a bridge between eras. Doohan's Scotty represented the original optimism of the 1960s, a post-war generation dreaming of peace through progress. Pegg's Scotty has carried that torch into a more complicated time, where the dream of the future feels both fragile and precious. His last words are a promise that even when we lose our heroes, we don't lose their values. They live on, in every engineer who improvises, every captain who leads with empathy, every fan who still looks up at the night sky and feels wonder instead of fear. In a way, Scotty's goodbye mirrors Star Trek's own evolution. The franchise has reinvented itself countless times. New captains, new ships, new tones, but its core has remained intact. The faces change, but the mission doesn't. To seek out new life and new civilizations, yes, but also to seek out the best in ourselves. That's the warp core of Star Trek. The belief that progress isn't about gadgets, it's about goodness. As the credits roll and Scotty's tools are finally laid to rest, one can't help but think of the generations he inspired, both within the show and beyond it. Real engineers, scientists, and dreamers have cited Star